best a man can get.
Back here on First Things First with FS1 NBA analyst Sarah Kustok. Hey, Sarah. It is great to see you. How's it going?
It's great. You all are testing me with really tossing a lot of
commercial
fire.
breaks?
Yeah, the strong commercial breaks.
We test you in the commercial break. You could perform.
How'd you sleep last night?
Excellent.
Okay, good.
Excellent. Like a
good night of rest.
Like a baby.
Let's talk some Nets, Sarah. There were a number of reports.
Do you dream?
Stop.
At the end of the season,
Just
about
see if our dreams
teams
were crowded, man.
that were wary of signing Kyrie Irving because of his rumored leadership skills. Recently, Brooklyn's head coach Kenny Atkinson was asked about Kyrie. Coach said he doesn't want to prejudge him, that he wants Kyrie to have his best season ever. He also said you don't know a guy until you coach him. Sarah, how will Kyrie fit in Brooklyn?
I believe it's going to be an excellent fit. And similar to what Kenny Atkinson said, you don't know until you have a guy in your gym every day playing with the rest of your team and the rest of your roster until you actually see how it melds together. However, Kyrie Irving's coming in, and I know that he got a bad rap in Boston, but he had a season where he averaged 24, 7, and 5, right around there, shot 40% from the three-point line. He's one of the most talented and skilled guys with the ball in his hands, the way he creatively finishes. And this is a team that likes to get up and down. They like to shoot a lot of threes. They do share the basketball. However, we saw last year with D'Angelo Russell, they utilize the pick and roll. They like to use ball screens. They use a lot of off-ball action. So all of that said, with how talented Kyrie is offensively, fitting in with an already strong core of players, everyone understanding their roles. And the flip side of things, I know a lot of people focus on the defensive end. Guess who's going to be next to him? It's either going to be Karis LeVert, 6'7" Karis LeVert, who is one of the strong defenders on the other end. 6'6" Spencer Dinwiddie, who is a talented defensive player, along with being able to play on or off the ball. You got shooters in Joe Harris, big men in Jared Allen. And on top of all of this, as we continue to talk about, with Kyrie Irving, he chose to play here. He's playing amongst friends. He's with people that he wants to be with. He's going back home. So I think all of those things are what makes this a situation that's going to be, I think, really advantageous and beneficial for both sides.
All right, before I get into my opinion on this, I think a lot of people that are watching have a much better idea of who Kyrie Irving is than who Kenny Atkinson is.
Yes.
And so Brad Stevens, non-confrontational coach. Ty Lue, not an overly confrontational coach. His last two coaches. David Blatt was just swimming without goggles. He was trying to figure out what was what. Kenny Atkinson, I haven't been as up close and personal as you have, but I've seen enough Nets games, been to enough games where he will get in your face. He will yell at a guy. Tell the audience about who he is and how you think that relationship could go.
Kenny Atkinson, and I say this saying through, and I won't divulge too much, but being able to sit through practices, watch the in and outs, the day-to-day, see how he is with guys. This is in a practice setting with a full team. This is skill workouts. This is one-on-one individual work. Kenny Atkinson is one of the most dedicated, committed, gritty guys that you will see as a coach, but he's also fearless in how he interacts with players, and he is going to treat everyone the exact same. And you brought up the word confrontational. And there's a reason why everyone on the Brooklyn Nets team, D'Angelo Russell being one of those, really was attracted to Kenny and the way in which he coached, because he's a player's coach in a sense that he's going to do whatever it takes to get the best out of you, but doing so in a way that he's going to get in your face. And he may cuss you out. And he may be someone who does things that you don't appreciate in the moment, but at the end of the day, you know how much he cares about you. He's one of the most sincere human beings, and he loves you as a player. So with all of that being said, I too think Kenny has got an excellent staff along with him that works with these players. I mean, Kenny's out barefoot chasing rebounds and getting it. He's got his ankles taped and practicing with the guys, going through drills, showing them things hands-on. So for all of those reasons, is it going to be an adjustment period? Probably. It is with every player. But because of that, I think the respect goes top to bottom with all the other players. But I think for Kyrie Irving, he is going to have someone that is as up close with him, in it with him, as he can find. And I think at the end of the day, he'll realize that what Kenny wants is for him to be the best player, and that is what any guy should want.
Yeah, we're going to have plenty of eyeballs on Kenny Atkinson as a head coach. He cut his teeth in the Atlanta organization and player development. So this is how he coached. He's on the court developing players, giving guys drills. The number one way to get a professional athlete's attention is to make him better at something. And that's how he's done that. And that's why they selected him as a coach. That's why they have confidence in him. That's why you saw all their young players get so much better. The style for which they play at is conducive to Kyrie getting better. Not only do they have DeAndre Jordan, so he has someone to be able to finish at the rim, because Kyrie can get into the paint. The lob game is back open for him. That hadn't been open for him. Not when he was in Cleveland, because they didn't have a bunch of guys who can play above the rim,
right.
And definitely not in Boston. They got better shooters in Brooklyn than he had with the Celtics. So the court's going to be more wide open. I just wish Kevin Durant was playing from day number one, because I believe with him on the court, we would see the best Kyrie that we've seen since we saw in that final. So I do think the style for which them getting up and down this offseason becomes important for Kyrie, the most important one since LeBron went back to Cleveland. Will he get his body in tip-top shape? Because there were teams that looked at Kyrie and they were concerned long-term with his dedication, not to basketball, but his dedication to taking care of his body. And the coach made it clear yesterday, I'm giving him a clean slate.
Right.
Even though we've done our research, we know about Kyrie, but I'm going to give him a clean slate. And most coaches, when you start like that, it really gives the player a lot of confidence that he doesn't have to be perfect from day number one.
Nick, Kyrie did much better last year, obviously, when the Celtics were winning than when they weren't losing. You saw that in body language. You saw that in post-game press conferences. Now you're going to have him starting on a team without KD, which means if this team goes bad, a lot of that pressure is going to be on Kyrie. It's going to be, well, it was Kyrie's fault because KD wasn't there. How do you think he'll be able to handle that?
Well, listen, the onus is on Kyrie to not only keep them afloat, but to keep them going in this direction until KD steps on the court for the first time. This is a team that if they had just run it back, given the fact that Kawhi left the conference, given the fact that there's uncertainty after the top two teams, if they had made no changes, just brought back D'Angelo Russell, not signed Kevin Durant, we just said, could the Nets jump up to the 3 or the 4 seed, right? That would have been the discussion. So it is Kyrie's job when they also added DeAndre Jordan, and he's clearly on the downside, but Jared Allen's back. Karis LeVert, you hope, be able to play the full season. Spencer Dinwiddie, 6th man of the year buzz. Like, this is a good young roster. If they are floundering, if they are fighting to be 500, of course it's going to fall on number 11's head, and it should. Now, I think Kyrie has the ability to be a great player in this league. We've seen it. What we haven't seen him be is a great player as the best player for everything that comes with that responsibility, everything that comes with that. He's going to have to do that until Kevin Durant comes out there, and I'm excited to see it because we know how special he is. We know there's not another player in the league with his specific set of skills, and I think the Spencer Dinwiddie relationship really matters. He was recruiting him all year, a la Draymond with Kevin Durant a few years ago. They're close friends. We know how close he is with Durant. He has a relationship with DeAndre Jordan. So I don't think he had someone on the Celtics that when Kyrie was getting askew could grab and be like, hey, bro, we need you back here right now, and what you're doing is not working. I think they have that in Brooklyn.
And I think that's the biggest factor you look at, and you don't just point to one thing, and I'm certainly not putting blame on Terry Rozier, Kyrie. Everyone plays a part of that, but you had a guy that was the backup to Kyrie Irving that felt like he could have been the starting point guard, and he was part of the reason that they went to the Eastern Conference Final. Yeah. This is such a different situation.
Absolutely.
And so that changes the entire complexion of during the ups, the downs, how I think the perspective and mentality of the
Some of that blame for Kyrie in Boston is not his fault. Jason Tatum not being an offensive player wasn't Kyrie's fault. Them having all those forwards to try to get in that rotation, that's not his fault. Rozier wanting to be a starter, get a new contract, that's not Kyrie's fault. We gave Kyrie a lot of blame for what went on in Boston that was not his fault. A lot of it, Danny Ainge should assume some of that, and Brad Stevens did not have a good year. He should assume some of that blame.
And we just saw last year, real quick, D'Angelo Russell being a guy that people said couldn't be a leader, couldn't fit in, was a character issue.
Yes.
One of the most beloved guys that I've seen in a while in Brooklyn. So I think it shows how you can bring a guy in.
All right, Sarah, thanks. Stick around. Coming up, we'll discuss the details of Kawhi's new contract next. This is First Things First.